Okay. Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go get him, Seiji. Make it hard. Make it hard.
Well, I already did the. Oh, I just remember I didn't send it to you, Vanderwood, but I'm really, really sorry.
How do you feel? How do you feel, by the way?
Oh, good. It was 2 days of intense, two very intense days, but now it's I'm better. Yeah.
Did you eat that? What was it? It was a quiche. Was it a quiche?
No, I think it's something I ate in Guadalajara. I get
You
super
went and had
excited.
some real Mexican food. That's foolish. Okay.
I went to all my favorite restaurants for a meal at the.
Yeah. All right. Now your stomach is American. Don't forget.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's very sad. All right, let's see.
Don't worry. Noor told me she's gonna learn to make Mexican food.
All right. Okay. Okay, so you guys remember we started with our new book, super exciting. With the translators. We started with the new book, and we started talking about the author of this new book, Master Shantideva, and pretty impressive life that he started having. Now, who can remember what was one of the extraordinary experiences that he had when he was 6 years old? And this begs the question: how? Well, we'll see that later. Who can remember the story?
He met a great secret practitioner, and he requested empowerment. And he worked hard and practiced the mantras for visualizing Manjushri. And not very long after, he met Manjushri face to face, and Manjushri granted him very personal advices, also face to face.
Perfect. Do you remember, for extra points, do you remember what version of Manjushri this was?
Sharp? It was
Who said Sharp? Oh,
Yeah.
Nick.
Sharp Manjushri, right?
I said none. Somebody else said
Yeah.
Sharp, yeah.
Awesome. Or I don't know if this is how you spell it, but this is how
good
it's
enough.
good.
Why he's called Tikshna, I don't know. I mean, it's something we could look into if we had time. Why he's called Tikshna, I don't know.
Right. I mean, Manjushri seems very sharp already to me.
Yeah, that's what I think. And how can you have a soft sharp? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting to check. Then this, I was reading, it's like, oh my God, at 6, he was already, or not long after 6, he was already talking to Manjushri face to face. How on earth did this guy ever get the nickname of Mr. Three Thoughts?
Is that something that came up in your book, or is this just you're asking us? Yeah, what we think.
Like what?
Why would he want to broadcast it all? He was a secret practitioner, and
yeah.
People also see where they're at. They'll see you bring their seed in a way.
Oh, that's a great point.
That's true. Yeah.
I was thinking more on the lines of what Gyelsi said. Maybe he was just pretending to be dull to help his fellow monks feel at ease or something. I don't know.
Inspire them to be dull.
Right. If I can do it, yes. Right. And do you guys remember how was it that after that we started continuing the biography of Master Shantideva? How was it that he ended up in the Nalanda monastery?
They wanted him to be king, and he split before because
Manjushri said it's my throne.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And it would be proper for both to sit on the same.
Hey,
Yeah.
boy.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
my throne.
His father, the king, passed. The people asked him to be king. He said yes, but he had this dream before the coronation, the night before his coronation. And yeah, what everybody said. Now, this is a little bit more difficult. What are
Yeah.
Whoops. What
Hey,
are the,
that was your homework, Seiji.
well, I I pulled a Stanley.
All right.
Very intelligent.
No, actually, I did try to guess, but I wanted to ask the audience to participate what they think. Some of them I think, are obvious, and some of them not so much. Who remembers the first one? The first chapter.
The benefits of
Why bodhicitta is so cool.
achieving
Right.
bodhicitta.
Oops. Yes, you're right, both Word and Gyaltse. Explanation. That's fairly easy, right? Why would you start with that?
It's like the advertisement for the book. Like this is why
He's using the four types of learner system, the format.
Learner number one. Why do you want to spend your time here? Yes, I said the same thing. Perfect way to sell people on the idea of studying and practicing bodhicitta, since that's the whole thing about this book. Number two?
Ikpa confession. Is that number 2?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes,
Yeah.
confessing bad deeds.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Why would you do that? I think this, in my opinion, this relates to number 3. Do you remember which one was number 3 word?
Number 3 is I don't know, gathering goodness. I forget.
Committing yourself to bodhicitta.
Right. So, well, that was my reasoning. Why would you want to confess your bad deeds as number 2?
So that you have a chance of clearing the karma necessary to actually achieve bodhicitta.
That's what I thought. Yeah, to
That's
do
what I thought.
purification.
Good. That's nice. Yeah. I like
And then,
that.
like you said, number 3 was committing yourself to bodhicitta. I mean, this one I think is straightforward, just knowing what the process is to committing to bodhicitta.
Taking the vows, I think, yeah.
Right. So who remembers number 4?
Mindfulness.
Yep. Teaching on
Or
mindfulness.
being mindfulness.
Sorry?
No, sorry.
No, what did you say, Venerable Pala? I didn't
Well,
hear.
being mindful, because the next one is also about mindfulness.
Being mindful, okay.
To make the distinction between the two.
And what would you want to be mindful?
So that you can know, so you can be careful about the things you just committed to.
Cool. Yeah, I thought something like that too, to keep your bodhicitta, even in bad moments when it really counts. And yes, number 5, I think Venerable Pala had it.
Staying
Taking
aware.
care of your mindfulness.
Right. Oh, I put taking care of your mind, of your mindfulness.
Yeah, Sheishin, right?
Right. Of
Awareness or mindfulness.
awareness. Okay. And why do we want that?
In Tibet.
Because that's, I mean, Sheishin's also like alarm mind, like the thing that's supposed to go off if we're doing something bad. So
Right. To take you back.
And so we'll be more capable of practicing the Bodhisattva practices that are coming.
Yeah, I said something like that. Make sure we can sustain our practice, taking care of our mindfulness. All right. And 6.
the perfection of not getting angry.
Yes.
Very much related to mindfulness.
Right.
Absolutely.
So why would you have this as number 6?
You gotta get perfections eventually. I don't know.
Yeah, but this is not the first perfection.
I know, it's not the first. Well, I mean, if you've graduated and actually can have some mindfulness and awareness, you have some, like Nick was saying, some chance of actually not getting angry.
Oh, that's cool. I thought we jumped to obstacles to bodhicitta. And to be honest, this part, I was not sure why keep giving it ethics. I don't have a... This is the part that I struggle the most, to be honest. I couldn't come with a very good answer.
Well, ethics was kind of the first 5 chapters, and giving is the 10th chapter, isn't it?
I was thinking the same thing. Those are all ethics in a way, right?
Right, like the dedication can be giving.
Confessing is morality. Mindfulness is morality.
And also in the first chapter, there's a lot of making offerings, as I recall.
Cool.
Oh yeah, like the different kinds of bodhisattva offerings are explained, right? The different kinds of offerings or something.
I believe, if I recall.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Daniel says, if you get angry, you destroy your mindfulness, by the way. So 6, 6 helps take care of 5, something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Bodhicitta and mindfulness. Cool. What was number 7?
Joyful effort.
It says
the way,
teaching
Nicole-
on joyful
Nicole
effort
says-
in the chat.
Nicole says that anger would also destroy the seeds to get to the last 2 perfections, especially. Okay. Yep.
Yep. Cool. And well, and then here we have the classic succession between the 6. Why do we get joyful effort after not getting angry?
So if we're not getting angry, we can actually be happy and do good things.
Right. Yes. Yes. And what was that?
What did you say?
In course ACI 10, it's explained exactly why it's one after the other.
But I'm asking you here.
All right, I'll have to check that.
All right. Teaching on concentration. Why do you have concentration after joyful effort?
Because you needed to create the karma for that.
Yeah, basically each one of those builds on the one before. Well, I mean, except for the last one that you were supposed to have it for all, right? And number 9, you guys remember?
Wisdom.
Yay. And why do we have it after concentration?
The only
You
one
need a
left.
platform.
Yeah, you need a platform. That's good.
Cool. And the last one, do you guys remember?
Oh, dedication.
Dedication.
Cool. All right.
Because you want to see it again.
Yeah, cool.
And you want to continue perfecting it, perfectionizing yourself.
Cool. Awesome.
And I think this traditionally is the chapter on giving, right?
The chapter what, sorry?
This is the giving that we were missing.
Geshe-la, is that the chapter that he was giving as he was super high in the sky?
Well, it started wisdom when he was high in the sky, and some people blamed it on the distance that they didn't understand what he said.
Also, these last 2. Cool.
Geshe-la, isn't there some argument about chapter 10?
I believe so. Some people said what it was. I believe it was added later when they found him, and he said, "By the way, there's another chapter. I left it in the rafters of my house or something."
Right.
Well, or wasn't it that they asked him to write another chapter or something? Or
Could be.
I guess we'll find out in his biography. Would that be again?
Good chance.
It's in a biography. I've read it, but I don't remember which biography. We'll see.
All right, cool. Okay, vocabulary words. Jampal nyumpo, nyumpo.
Sharp, gentle voice.
Gentle voice, the sharp.
Sharp, gentle voice.
Seiji,
Sharps.
you don't want the agi-kui. I mean,
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
unless you're putting the whole phrase. So.
and I think Nick already said this one.
No, doesn't mean vast or the vaults of the sky or something.
Mhm.
Depths.
Or fully comprehend. I found this on the dictionary, but I saw that Geshe put in his notes also can mean fully comprehend.
Mm.
And Galway Hla,
Gina Deva?
Mhm. Like,
Jaya Deva, right?
yeah, yeah.
Jaya
also-
Deva, yeah, Jaya.
And do you guys remember who that was?
his secret teacher?
Hmm.
Nope.
No, he granted his name, right?
I mean, maybe it was his secret teacher, but it was kind of like the abbot of
Yeah,
Milan,
he was the
right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, the person he sought out who had the best morality in the monastery or something like that.
Mhm. All right, and Gishla, so I took the next ones. I got some help from Nick. I mean, the first ones are pretty simple.
Okay, good. Let's check.
Please
Oh,
read the Tibetan.
Change
version.
that G to a K, Seiji, in Jukpa.
Oh.
In English, not in the Tibetan. No, not in the Tibetan. In the pronunciation. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Can you read the first line, Seiji?
Yaker du Bodhisattva Charyavatara.
Good. Sometimes the Tibetans break out the Sanskrit, which is actually what the mixed nuts do. So they didn't join the two A's, for example. So and because of that, especially, I would cut it up into pieces, Seiji. So it'd be Bodhisattva, Charya, Avatara. Yeah, and I would capitalize the C and the A.
Oh, okay.
We're going to talk about that, but we'll get there. And I would italicize it since it's the title of the book. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Yep. And I would put a period at the end. Yay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
When we don't italicize, right? I always get this wrong.
You always
you
italicize it.
Any title.
You do? The dot? Oh.
Yeah, whatever punctuation is following an italicized word, with some exception, you can find it in the style guide for the Diamond Cutter Classics.
Yes. In the language of Tibet. Oh, can you read, please? Perkedu.
Perkedu Chanchup Sempe Chupala Jupa.
Yeah, give me a little prenasal because there's an open vowel here. Chupalanjupa.
Chupalang Jupa. Oh, okay.
Good. In the language of Tibet, it is called Changchu. I would say P-A-Y. Okay. Here, P-A-Y.
P-A-Y. Oh.
Yeah, good. Chupala Jupa. Yeah, you could do that. There's no reason not to capitalize the la.
Okay.
And then italicize the whole thing.
Okay.
Geshe-la,
Yep.
isn't there a good reason to not capitalize the law? Because it's like a preposition, postposition?
No, here it's just a title. It's just words in a title. Okay, so yeah, I would just capitalize all the words. It looks better as an English title, you know.
So here as well, the to and the, and Of?
No.
Oh, okay.
Then I would start the in English on the next line. It looks nicer. And that's something that I do with your books. And Rosa helps me, Utpala helps me. In English, it is called The Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life.
And would you leave that there, or you put it in like a footnote or this part?
Well, I would put it in square brackets because we are adding something to the text. So that's the standard. Yeah, and I would end both of these with periods. Yeah.
And
I would say in English, this is, I would just say it is, this is. In English, this is, and then I would say a guide. The implies there's only one in the universe, and I would cut out the word called in the English. Yeah.
This is a guide to.
Yeah. Okay, good. Please read the next slide.
Sangye dang jangchup sempe tamche axelo.
Yeah, when you see an ending a word like sempa, don't confuse it for an apostrophe I, which is such a common possessive, right? So this is sempa, okay? Yeah, it's just sempa. Yeah, not sempe. Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Yep, I bowed down to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Nice. Good. All right, let's go see.
Oh, he doesn't have the Sanskrit. I'm like, why aren't we talking about the Sanskrit? Because it's not.
We're getting there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Okay. Is this your own translation of the root text?
This one, yeah. I mean, this next.
Okay.
I helped him with this part a little bit.
Yeah, that's why it's good.
Let me digest it for a second. Nick, I want you to catch the nga.
I'm looking. Oh, nga say. Yeah. I was confused about that nga. But I was trying to understand if it was modifying say or what.
No, it's it means then, lan then, possessing. It means possessing.
Oh, okay. And to those gone to the truth. Oh, to the children who possess the Dharma body, or
no, they don't.
To the truth body which they possess.
I bow down to the desheks who nga the chikiku.
I bow down to those Ganabas who have. It's not and to their truth body, but it's like who have truth body, who have a reality body, who possess the reality body, I guess. I would say who possess the body of reality or something.
Yeah.
Possess. Reality. And
comma. And
to all worthy of prostration. So you can just delete the to their truth body.
I want to see the say here.
Oh, that's right. Right. I forgot about the say.
And their children?
Who possess the body of reality, yeah, and the children of, and their children, yeah.
And their children, right, yeah.
Or maybe and to their children to make it flow.
Yeah, that would be good, yeah.
I would, oh yeah, possess body of reality. Okay,
And then catch the dung at the end of the first line.
totally. And to all worthy of frustration. I think we had it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Good.
I would probably
Okay, the
put,
first
I would put who possess the body of reality on one line and then and to their children on the next line, maybe.
To their children.
You know, Geshe-la likes to split them out. I think poetry is more powerful when it's short.
Yeah. Pithy.
So
Would you
I have no intention ever to try to stick to 4 lines. Mhm.
Right,
We've
right.
learned from you well this.
Deishek Seki Domla Chupani. Thinking Domla.
I would say children again instead of sons and daughters, Seiji, at the end.
Okay. Deishek Seki Domla Chupani. Yeah, and in accord. Okay, good. How to practice the yeah, okay. The rest is okay. Yeah, the rest is okay. Yep.
All right, cool. Okay, thanks for that one, Nick.
All right, you got rescued by Nick, huh? You were doing your special Guadalajara dinner meditation. Okay.
I always try to translate, but then when I get stuck, I ask Nick for help.
I think it's very wise. You can learn more. Okay, so I have a proposal, kind of a proposal. Well, we'll get to it. Okay, we finished this part. So as I mentioned last time, I think I asked Aisha, who's our Sanskrit hound dog, who sniffs out the Sanskrit originals everywhere in the universe, to find a good Sanskrit edition of this text, which was originally published by the Russians in 1920 or something. They were really, really good in St. Petersburg. And they had a great, great German and Russian collaboration there. And so they published a lot of, they had like a mixed nuts group going there, and they published a lot of rare Sanskrit books from the original palm leaves. And then they haven't really been updated, but we have David Regal, who's and his wife Nancy, who have agreed, who refused to take payments so far. We're still working, and they have come out with a new edition of the first chapter, which considers all the pieces that have been found on palm leaves. They find half a palm leaf somewhere. Somebody puts it into a computer, and they put out a new edition. So anyway, the only original they can find says Om Namo Buddhaya. I bow down to the Buddha. Okay. And so our Sanskrit will not always directly match the Tibetan. There were probably dozens of Sanskrit versions running around India, and one went to Tibet. So, yep.
Isn't this book rare because it was like it was very popular in Master Shantideva's lifetime?
I'm not sure how widely spread it was, or I'm not sure myself. There are more editions of this book than usually that you find other books. Okay, so it was a hit. It was a hit, yeah.
Okay.
And here's the verse that you already translated. I just wanted to point out that there's a pun here. Seki Domla Jupa What's the jupa in Sanskrit?
Avatara.
Avatara. So it's kind of he's hiding the name of his book in the first verse, okay? The say is the Bodhisattvas. The dome is their commitments. And the jupa is their avatara. So it's Bodhisattva, Charya, Avatara. You see? It's kind of cool. Now, I have a proposal, and Christina Kasica has no idea I'm going to do this. I thought it'd be fun for you guys to learn some Sanskrit. And I personally, I don't support doing exercises to learn a language or something like that. I think you learn something by doing something real. And so I have this inspiration, and I don't even care if you don't want to learn Sanskrit, you're going to do it. I want to teach you Sanskrit organically. So I call it's a new invention, it's a new project, which we really need, called DCC Organic Sanskrit. And I want to teach you guys Sanskrit organically, which means it's going to be inextricably tied to a text. I have no interest. I was forced to memorize a grammar book, and it was painful, and 50 students dropped out to survive, and it was boring, and I don't know. So I would like to teach you Sanskrit by going to an actual text that means a lot to your spiritual life. And then that way, and again, I mentioned it last time, there's only a small handful of texts available in Sanskrit, but it is the language of the Buddhas. When you become enlightened, you do speak in Sanskrit. And this text, Sanskrit, is available, and it's beautiful. So I thought it would be a good chance I don't want you to spend too much time on Sanskrit, and I'm telling you that to your face. I don't want you to become, I want you to be a hobby and not a job. Okay, when you need it, I want you to be able to go check a text, but I don't want you to translate from the Sanskrit. Okay, and by the way, your translation of the Sanskrit will never, ever be better than a Tibetan's translation. Never. Nobody. Okay? Those translators were unbelievable. They were on some kind of drugs or something. But I don't care who you are. I don't care how well you know Sanskrit. In my opinion, you will never understand it better than the ancient Tibetan translators. They were goddamn good. And I've checked them countless times, and I'm always amazed by how good they were. Okay, so there's no point to go study Sanskrit to retranslate what the Tibetans already translated. It's a supreme waste of time. Okay, but even here in this first verse, the third line, Bodhisattva Charya Avatar is hiding in there. And you don't see it in the Tibetan. Here's the avatar in the Sanskrit, okay? Where is that? Yeah, here it is, avatara, okay? And you should appreciate that it's hiding in there, okay? So I want you to know some Sanskrit. If you're translating a book that was written in Sanskrit and we have the Sanskrit, like who is doing that? Seiji. For goodness sake, at least you should know some Sanskrit, right? Now, what I mean by organic Sanskrit is that I would like to teach you Sanskrit as it comes up in the Bodhisattva Charya Avatar, okay? As it comes up in the Bodhisattva's way of life, I will teach you principles of Sanskrit. And then by the end of his class, 5 years, 6 years from now, you will have a very good grasp of Sanskrit, the basics of Sanskrit. You will know them pretty well. Okay, so my idea is in each verse, roughly, I will try to give you one principle of Sanskrit, and then we'll collect them. And that will be the Mixed Nuts Diamond Cutter Classics Guide to Sanskrit, Guide to Buddhist Sanskrit. And that's where Christina comes in. What I would like to do is I will derive one Sanskrit principle from each verse. Just one. I'll try to stick to one. Sometimes there's more. Well, there's always more. And then I will put a % sign like here. And that means this is the principle for this verse. And then I will explain the principle briefly because our main job is still to translate the Tibetan. And that's Seiji's main job. So Seiji has to translate the Tibetan. I put here Seiji, but if Christina Kasica nods at me right now, I'd like Christina to record you're the recorder of my principles, okay? Now, I do not want the classical linguist lingo, okay? I don't want to see euphonic combination running around here. And I don't want to see Sanskrit names for conjunctions and stuff. I'm not interested. Okay, so wipe out the Harvard part. Okay, all right. I want something everyone can understand when we finish. Okay, so I don't want technical words in here. And okay, so every verse there'll be one or two principles of Sanskrit. I will not take much time. Otherwise, we don't learn the topic, and Seiji cannot translate the verses. Okay, but I'll give you, and then I want you to record it in some master document. And by the end, we'll have a course for learning Sanskrit, which is organic because it derives naturally from a real book. Okay, and then that'll be the Mixed Nuts Sanskrit manual. Will be this book, and everyone who ever studies Sanskrit from the Mixed Nuts system, unfortunately, will have to go deep into the Bodhisattva Charavatara. Okay, all right. It's a master trick. Okay, so, and Dwight Whitney, and we're going to talk about him. He would have numbered it, and he did. He wrote all the principles of Sanskrit in a numbered list, which is 300-400 pages long. And I'd like to do that. I'd like to organize them in a simple, clear categories. And then I want you to be able to say years from now, when you guys are sitting up here, we're referring to organic Sanskrit principle number 36. And everybody will say, oh yeah, 36, I know that one. Okay, so it's like how they numbered the Bible, like Matthew 3, part, I'd like each principle to be numbered and then put into a logical order, something like that, all right? And then you have to keep the master document. And then every time you get 10, 20 pages done, I'll go through and clean it up. And I'll take out all the Harvard stuff. So you might as well just leave it out in the beginning. Okay. All right, so here's my first principle, okay? And it's number one, but it doesn't, you decide how to number them. The ratio of Tibetan to Sanskrit, of Sanskrit to Tibetan, is most often 1 to 2. In other words, you're going to get 4 lines of Tibetan for 2 lines of Sanskrit. Okay, that's normal. In a Sanskrit shloka, which means a Sanskrit verse, you will normally have 2 lines, and the Tibetans normally will translate it with 4 lines. Okay, so when you're trying to figure out what's the Sanskrit for something in the first 2 Tibetan lines, you're going to go to the first long line in the Sanskrit. And same with lines 3 and 4. And they stuck to that, okay? The Tibetans precisely stuck to a certain number of syllables per line, and they stuck precisely to double the number of lines. All in this text, no exceptions. And that's extraordinary. In the English, I think it's a tremendous waste of time to try to do the same thing. It just doesn't work. I tried it. If you see my early Abhidharma Kosha translation, 12 years of work, I stuck to the lines, and it sucks. Okay, I threw it out. I never finished it. It was 12 years of work, so it's a waste of time. Okay, I don't think it's worth it to try to make it go. You know, when you were so cool, I knew you wouldn't drool. You know, like, you know, it's hopeless. No, it's silly to try, in my opinion. Okay, so anyway, there's the first principle. By the way, is it the most important principle? Not at all. I'm doing it organically. As it comes out, I'm teaching you the principles. Okay. Second principle here. The meter, which means the number of beats per line, is normal. It's always the same. In this book, it will always be the same. There will be some lines that are longer, but they will match the next line. So that's okay. But the first line and the second line will always have the same number of beats, syllables, okay? And very often, the Sanskrit splits evenly where the Tibetan lines split. In other words, a Sanskrit line might be 16 beats, and it always cuts at 8. Okay, there's a bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, it's always like that. Shantideva is playing, and he doesn't do that. And it's unusual, okay? But he does stick to something normal, okay? And you count for me, okay? Sugat, by the way, Buddhists count like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Sugatansa sutansa dharmakayan pranipatyadaro kilanscha vandyan. Sorry, Sugatansa sutansa dharmakayan. How many is that? 11. Okay. Pranipatyadaro kilanscha vandyan. What did I say? 11 and 12. He's playing. He doesn't do 12 and 12. He does 11 and 12. Okay? So at the end of the 11th beat, there will always be a major division in the Sanskrit. And that's usually where the Tibetan splits. Okay? So he's going to be doing 11 beats followed by 12. Okay? For everything, most lines. When he gets to the end, he likes to play around. Why I'm mentioning it here is it alerts you that there's a mistake here in the Sanskrit. Okay, you cannot have a ty by itself followed by a consonant. It's not allowed. Okay, you can't even pronounce it. Okay, someone has made a mistake in the first line in the Sanskrit. Okay. And you don't have to be a genius, and you don't even have to know what it means. You can tell from the beats. Something's wrong with the beats. Okay, you cannot have a y as a vowel in Sanskrit. Okay, in English you have a few, like the name Lynn. You know, that's the only vowel in the name, but it's not allowed in Sanskrit. Okay, something's missing here. All right, that's another story. I'm not going to try to fix the Sanskrit today, but. Second principle, right? What was the first principle? Generally 1 to 2. Okay. And then in the lines. And then learn to feel the meter, and you'll be able to detect when there's a problem. So a lot of what do you call it? Spotting a mistake in a Sanskrit manuscript is often as simple as the meter doesn't work out. There's a problem with the beats. Okay, cool. And you don't have to know what the heck it means. Okay, now I'm not doing any more Sanskrit for that verse because the main job we have is to translate the root text, the whole root text, which I did not do in ACI 10, 11, 12. Okay, because it was a 10 class course and you couldn't do that. Okay. But still we should read it. Okay, so just follow. Okay. Sugatansa, sitansa, dharmakayan, pranu, patyadarato kilanscha, vandyan, sugatatmaja, sambaravataram, tatayishyami, yatagamam, samasat. Okay. And we finished the Tibetan, so let's go to the second verse. And Seiji's gonna read the Tibetan. Here we go. And I'm not trying to teach you the Sanskrit for the first verse. I'm teaching you organically. By the time we get to the end of the book, you'll be able to read the first verse. Okay.
All right. Yung che ma chungwa yang dir chume. Dip chur kepang dakla yuminte. De chi shenten sampa dakla me. Franki ila komchir ngandi tsam.
Okay. Lunche, lunche means in days gone by. Okay, in the time up to now. Lunche means in the time up to now. Machunga means something that wasn't said about this book. Okay, some new insight which no one ever had before. Dear me.
Has not been said.
No.
Yeah, I got nothing new to offer you. Okay, there's nothing in here, dear, in here. There ain't nothing, me, that somebody hasn't figured out before. Okay, about Buddhism. Okay, je means I've got nothing to say. Je means say. Okay, so munche means before, ma junra, that people didn't say before. Yang is a filler to make the verse. Dear Jim, I got nothing to say that people haven't said before. I have nothing new to offer you, which is already a lie. Okay, that's the way. You always exaggerate at the beginning. Understand?
He went up to the throne and they asked him to do something new.
Yeah. Hasa says, don't forget that when Shantideva Master Shantideva went to the throne to teach, they asked for something new. Okay. Depjoy, do you guys remember?
Isn't that leisure and fortune?
No. Depjoy means Depjoy is the science of composition, writing. Depjoy means composition. Okay. Dep means to put stuff together. Jor means join it together. Depjor is the ancient word for writing. Okay, writing. Okay, and he says, Doc, Depjor kepa mayan, Seiji. Doc, Depjor kepa mayan.
I will not compose.
I'm no master.
I ain't no kind of scholar.
Yeah, hey, I'm not a great writer. I don't know anything about writing. Second lie. Okay. Okay, yeah. Hey, I'm no great writer. I don't have any great skill in writing, Third line, Seiji. Therefore, Deichir, here's the biggest lie. I don't have any sampa shenden.
I don't have any thought
Shen Pen.
to benefit others.
Yeah, I have not a single intention to help anybody with this book. Okay. I could care less about everybody else. Okay. I'm not a master writer. There's nothing new in here. I'm sure I cannot help anybody. Then somebody's going to say, what? Well, why the hell did you write the book? And then he says, it's to go my own need.
Habituate my own mind to these ideas.
Yeah, this gom is not meditation. This gom is, I just want to get bhavayitum. I just want to get used to the ideas. Okay, cheer means just in order to get used to the ideas. Okay, in my own mind, ranki. That's why I wrote this book. Nge, instrumental, subject of the sentence. Sam, verb. D, object of the sentence. Therefore, I wrote this past tense. I have written this book. Okay. When you see an extra S on the verb, it's almost always a past tense. It's like ED in English. Okay.
Then we're at time for recap. I guess we don't really need to recap.
I'm about to ask Seiji to recap, Uncle Nick. And we'll continue with the Sanskrit in the next. And by the way, I think this is a brilliant idea to teach you guys Sanskrit at this point. And I also think that if you are just joining the Mixed Nuts, you came at a goddamn good time. Okay. You saved 6 years of hassle. And so what I'm saying is, the Tibetan translators, the 12 disciples, are ready to learn Sanskrit. And if you happen to be here, you can start Sanskrit now. And if you miss a class, you are kupale shintakupa. You are more retarded than retarded. So this is a line. We're drawing a line today. If you want to learn Sanskrit, you got to come to at least to Seiji's classes, okay, for the rest of your life, probably, okay? And I can teach you, and I can teach you well, and I've never done it, but we can do it organically. We're not going to memorize things, and we're not going to read, practice. I had to read the gut. I cursed again. Hitopadesha. These are children's stories. I had to read children's stories. It was terrible. So you get to read the Bodhisattva to learn Sanskrit. Seiji, we're going to go over to Seiji, and we're going to take a few minutes to summarize. But if you're here now and you don't start Sanskrit, you're a kupa. Idiot. I don't know. Okay. That's probably a sign I'm a kupa. I'll look it up while he's talking.
Well, surprisingly, this is the only verse we got to see today. So this is pretty much it. I guess the recap is we're going to be learning Sanskrit in an organic way. Michael is going to give us a principle. Yeah, one Sanskrit principle per line of Sanskrit. What are the first two? The first one is the ratio. Sanskrit to Tibetan is 1:2, meaning for one line of Sanskrit, you get 2 lines of Tibetan. And the meter, the second principle, the meter is always the same for this book. We said 11 syllables, the first line, and 12 the second, if I remember. Yeah. And this is the first.
And what did he say in this verse?
In this verse, he said, I am not going to say anything that hasn't been taught before. I'm not a great writer, and I don't think I'll help anyone with this book. I'm just writing this book just to get used to these ideas myself.
Nice. By the way, somebody asked me what's Kukpa in Sanskrit. I looked it up. It's Mukha. Just a Mukha.
Is that how?
Mukha. Idiot. My experience is everyone memorizes curse words easily, and then they have a lot of trouble with the Buddhist terms. You Mukha. All right. Okay. So you can make a promise in your own heart. You're in the right place at the right time. If you drop out, then you're a Mukha. Don't blame me. Okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Nick,
Geshe-la.
anything else, Uncle Nick?
Thank you, Geshe-la. Sashi.
Sashi.
Oh, come say good night, Amelie.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Amelie.
I'm gonna wave to the
Oh.
people.
Hi,
Can you say
Amelie.
good night?
Good night, Amelie.
Sweet
Can you
dreams.
She
say,
does that so graciously. She looks like Queen Elizabeth
yeah,
reincarnated.
it's got that vibe. Can you say, don't be Muka?
Perfect.
Thank you,
Good night, you
Amelie.
guys. See you bright and early.
Thanks.
All right, we love you. Good night,
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Amelie.
Geshe-la, can I sneak
Thank
in a
you,
question?
Say good night, Geshe Michael.
Wait, you got how to get your kid to act like Amelie? What? Okay. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Get some
Okay.
sleep.
Thanks, Geshe-la.
Hi, Amelie.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Amelie.
Mhm.